only 2 months, basically 2 months through 21 already. But time is money. Tori and Jonathan like to help people tell their stories, and this is TJ Talks, the podcast. Valentine's Day was last week. I enjoyed my time, and I showed out just a little bit. And then me and my lady were doing devotionals, and then I realized I still got a little bit to learn, and I'm open to it. But my topic for this week is something that I always want to say I internalize it, but I didn't realize you gotta have a work-life balance. A work-life balance. And also the importance of rest. So this week, I'm talking about the importance of breaks. Breaks are important. I have a few topics that I wrote down. I always write my topics down, but this one I legitimately came out of my head last night, and I said, okay, this is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to talk about. And for people that are getting used to writing and want to actually make sure they get their information out, write it down. It's the best way in the world. It's an episode I had last year, so we're just going to keep it moving. Breaks are important. I needed to take a break because, well, one, I am full-time on my business now, and that's all well and good. It's a long journey. Maintaining a business is a marathon, not a sprint. So you have to know that there's peaks and valleys, and I'm about to go into the very long part of the drought, because from February until graduation season, you then have to float. It's not that many opportunities out there for me. You can brush up opportunities, make stuff, and all the others, but right now you have to create the things that are going to happen. They don't just fall into your lap. Like the Valentine's special was a gimme. Valentine's portraits, everybody likes pictures. That was a gimme. Now we're about to go into that drought for all creatives, where this is hustle time, where if you're just going to chill and you go in hibernation when you're working, now's the time to do all that. So it's a natural time to take a break. Breaks are important. Breaks don't mean you've quit. Breaks mean you're refocusing, re-gearing, learning something new. I talked about that a few weeks ago also, but breaks are important. And the reason I am using this break right now is rekindling my relationships. Outside of my lady and my family, I'm gonna be honest, I dropped the ball on a lot of my relationships with friends and whatnot. So I have at least a month or two of, I know I have some free time in here somewhere. I'm gonna use the time to rekindle with people. Like last week, last Friday, right after the podcast went up, I went and refocused my resumes, cleaned them up, updated them, current information and the like. And I started putting in for other jobs. So yes, this is my full-time business, but I still have to have some money on the side. It's one of those natural things you just have to do. And the reason I actually went ahead and refreshed my resume to have that money on the side, even though this is technically my full time, is so that I can have manageable time to maintain my relations. Just because you are working doesn't mean You just have to be 100% head in your work or head in your books. You got to work on that balance. Life is a balance as a whole. And between that, working on your relationship balance, you also have to work on your health. I have seen many stories from people complaining about burnout because they're always working. Yes, work is what everybody preaches, but at some point you have to sit down and think about yourself, or your body is going to remind you that you are not a machine. Your body is going to remind you that you are not a machine. You have to rest. And I can speak to that currently, where I have been getting about 6 to 9 hours of sleep, and it feels amazing. No, that doesn't mean you have a problem, but the older you, some people say sleep is for the, you can sleep when you're dead. That is dumb. You can sleep when your body needs it, and you probably should, because if you're running around on 4 hours of sleep, that's not healthy. That's not healthy at all. And if you are doing all this work where you're always running off of 4 hours of sleep, and you've been doing that for a year consistently, your body is going to break down on you. And your body is going to make you get 12 hours of sleep one day. And I'm pretty sure that's probably going to shake your earth or your world to the core when you get that 12 hours of sleep, and it derails your train that you think requires you to be going on 4 hours of sleep. All I'm saying is you got to take control of that. I learned it firsthand with my condition, with my MS. I need sleep. So I'm not sure about your health condition. Don't ignore your health. You only have one of these. You only have one of these. Take care of it. And the last thing I know I definitely wanted to touch on for this week was taking a break does not mean quitting. Taking a break doesn't mean you're running away from something. When you take a break, that's refocus. And we're just going to say it just like that. Breaks are refocus time. If you are working at anything for a long period of time, mistakes start to happen. We are humans. And the funny thing, I learned about this even when I was in middle school. Even machines aren't perfect, but people don't want to hear that. Scientists don't want to hear that, because that would drive them crazy to know even the machines that you make to do something perfectly aren't perfect. Humans definitely aren't perfect, so we make mistakes. You can minimize those mistakes by taking breaks. I don't remember where I've heard that before, but it made sense to me and I internalized that. You can minimize mistakes by taking breaks. Breaks don't necessarily mean that you are quitting, running away, or putting something on the back burner. I know as a former mass procrastinator that taking a break could be the death of whatever you're trying to do, because then you'd have to get back into gear to get back to it. I learned myself that whole, I've said this many a times about making habits. I learned myself so that I can know when A, I need to take a break, and B, how to get myself back going. Because just like with an 18-wheeler, I think they have about 12 gears. Getting past those first 4 gears, if I remember correctly, and getting into gear takes a while. I'm convinced that somebody has a chart somewhere about comparing the process of starting anything to that 12 gear shift on an 18-wheeler. Funny thing about it, my car got an 8 car. It has 8 gears. And I was questioning, why in the world does this have 8? If I didn't switch it over into manual one day and check it myself, I wouldn't have known that. But even my stays an automatic car has 8 gears. So even the car has to shift down when it comes to a stop, or when you come down to a crawl. That reminded me that everything has to come to a stop. You should take control of when you need to, and understand that by design, there is a process to get back to where the speed you're at right now. It just takes a little bit of time, just takes a little bit of effort. Work on those habits and you will earn you. And I think I talked about what I wanted to talk about this week. I told y'all, short and sweet. And breathe, take breaks, and know that don't stress while you're taking those breaks. You can get back in the gear as long as you've made those habits. And with that said, I am Torian Jonathan. This is TJ Talks, the podcast. I will be talking to y'all next week. Later.